Let's think about how the internet actually shares data. If you go to a restaurant, you don't walk into the kitchen to make your meal. You give your order to a waiter, who brings the finished plate back to your table. APIs, application programming interfaces, are the waiters of the internet. They take your exact data requests to a server and carry the raw information back to you. For this transaction to work, the waiter and the kitchen have to speak the same language. In web development, that language is JSON. It is a strict, highly structured format that servers use to package and return the exact information you requested. Today, we are going to build an automated flow that proves exactly how this works. We will fetch real-time weather data using a REST API, parse the resulting JSON payload, and route that specific data into an Excel spreadsheet automatically. Before we begin, you need 3 things ready to go: a Power Automate Premium license, a free API key from OpenWeatherMap, and a blank, formatted Excel table saved in a SharePoint document library. Once you learn how to extract one specific data point from a massive payload, you have the architecture to do this with any service. This exact workflow can connect your systems to stock tickers, CRM databases, or global financial markets. Let's start the build. Inside Power Automate, create a new scheduled cloud flow. This allows you to dictate exactly when the automation runs. Then, add your very first action, the HTTP connector. We need to configure this HTTP action to a GET method, meaning we want to read data, not write it. Then, look at this visual breakdown of the OpenWeatherMap URI string. It is divided into a base URL, followed by empty slots for our parameters. We have to fill those parameter slots with the exact coordinates we want. We append our target latitude and longitude, and finally, slot in our custom API key to authenticate the request. With the URI complete, save your flow. Immediately run a manual test. We need to verify that this connection actually works before we build anything else. Check your flow history. You are looking for a status code of 200 on the HTTP action. A 200 confirms the server understood your request and successfully delivered the data. Click on the button labeled Show Raw Outputs. This expands a new window and reveals the raw JSON payload the API just handed back to us. Select and copy that entire block of JSON text. Successfully capturing this raw payload is the required first step. You cannot manipulate, format, or route data until you have the exact syntax the server returned. Next, add a Parse JSON action to your flow. Click the Generate from Sample button and paste the raw text you just copied. Power Automate will use this text to map out the structure of your data. Be extremely careful here. This diagram shows a standard block of JSON code, which operates on brutally strict syntax rules. If you manually delete even a single comma, the structural integrity of the entire data block fails, and the parser will break. Back in the flow, map the main content field of your parse JSON action directly to the body dynamic content from your original HTTP request. Our goal now is to extract a single specific data point from the payload, in this case, the current weather description. If you rely on Power Automate's default dynamic content menu to grab that description, the software will instantly force your action inside an Apply to Each loop. It does this automatically anytime it detects data trapped inside an array. To understand why, look at this side-by-side comparison of JSON structures. A JSON object uses curly brackets to hold discrete key-value pairs. A JSON array uses square brackets to contain lists of multiple items. Because our weather description lives inside that array, the software assumes it needs to loop through a whole list, even if there's only one item in it. We do not want that loop. Intentionally bypassing this default behavior is how you keep your automated data flows fast, clean, and highly scalable. To bypass the loop, skip the dynamic content menu entirely. Instead, add a new Compose action. We are going to write a custom expression. This text layout shows the exact syntax required to drill through the layers of the JSON body and isolate the specific weather description. Pay close attention to this 0 in the brackets. In JSON, counting starts at 0. By hard-coding our index, we are explicitly commanding the flow to grab only the very first item in the array, successfully bypassing the loop. You also need to watch out for the naming trap. If your action name has a space in it, you must convert that space into an underscore when you write the expression, or the formula will fail. With our data cleanly extracted, add one final action. Add a row into a table. Point this action to your designated SharePoint Excel file. Now, map the clean outputs from your compose action directly into the corresponding columns in your spreadsheet. Accurate data extraction relies on strict structural alignment, mathematically mapping the server's response so your destination database can ingest the values without error. The architecture is complete. Save the flow and trigger a final manual test to execute the entire sequence. Watch the logic trigger in real time. The API requests data, the custom expression isolates it, and the final action routes it directly to the database. Open your SharePoint document. You will see the Excel table instantly populate with the parsed real-time weather conditions exactly where they belong. This single automated row proves the concept. By mastering this JSON parsing framework, you can build custom pipelines for financial APIs, stock trackers, or internal logistics, connecting disparate web services directly to your own private databases.